everyone. Welcome to the show of US History. My name is Samer Abdu, and today you can't wait to see who's my host. And here he is. Hello, David.
Hey, how are you? Okay.
So, David, tell me, what do you think are the reasons for the growth of American imperialism?
Well, Americans wanted to extend their economic, political, and military control, and they wanted to take over the weaker territories.
So, David, can you talk to us about the American acquisition of Alaska?
Okay. The Secretary of State under Presidents Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson, William Seward, was an early support for the American expansion. He arranged for the U.S. to buy Alaska from Russia for around $7.2 million. In January 1959, Alaska was a state for the U.S. and it was rich in minerals and oil.
How about the American acquisition of Hawaii? Can you tell us about that?
In 1847, William McKinley succeeded Cleveland as a president. On August 12, 1898, the Congress proclaimed Hawaiian American territory. Although Hawaiians had never had the choice to vote. In 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state of.
So, David, can you tell us about the American and Spanish War?
The Americans were interested in Cuba as Cubans rebelled against Spain, so there was a second war for independence, as Jose, who was a Cuban journalist who was in exile in New York, launched a revolution in 1845. The Spanish responded to the Cuban revolt by sending Weyler. His actions fueled a war over newspaper circulation that had developed between the American newspaper tycoons William Hearst and Joseph Polizar. Despite the Spanish conclusion, public opinion favored war.
Talk to us about America and Puerto Rico.
The U.S. did not give Puerto Rico no promises regarding independence after the Spanish-American War. The U.S. under General Nelson Miles occupied the island as his soldiers took control. General Miles issued a statement assumed that the Puerto Ricans, the Americans were there to bring power and protection, not only to themselves, but to their property. Hello everyone, welcome back to the US History Show. I'm Maad Sabti. Speaking of history, we have a new host today. Wait to see. Everyone, give a round of applause to our historian, Hans Mommsen. How are you, man? Okay, thank you. Mr. Mommsen, I heard that you studied in the University of Marburg in Germany, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you were born there also,
Yeah.
right? Mr. Mommsen, talk to us about America and Cuba.
Well, when the US declared war against Spain in 1848, it recognized that Cuba's independence from Spain. The Treaty of Paris, which ended the war, guaranteed Cuba the independence. In 1901, the US insisted that Cuba had to add to its constitution.
Here is a tweet that says from Alex, what is the relationship between the US and China?
Well, that's a really good question, and I have the right answer for that. China was seen as a vast potential market for American products. Weakened by war and foreign interventions, China had become known as the sick man of Asia. The US feared that their trade would be shut down by China.
Mr. Mommsen, I heard a lot of people talking about Philippines and America. Can you talk to us about it so that the audience would have an idea?
Well, sure. They must have talked about Emilio Aguinaldo, who believed that the U.S. had promised independence. When he and other followers learned the terms of the treaty, and he wanted to revolt. In 1899, they revolted, and it took America 3 years to put down the revolution.
We have a tweet here from Jassim Al-Qadari that says, a question for Mr. Mommsen, what is the connection between Roosevelt and the world? With the hashtag that says, John Cena teaches kids to never give up.
Yeah, the WWE superstar.
Yeah.
So Roosevelt was unwilling to allow the powers of Europe to control the world's political and economic destiny. Japanese officials approached the President Roosevelt in secret to ask him to mediate peace negotiations, and he agreed. That is why he was called Roosevelt the Peacemaker. Many Americans felt the US needed a canal cutting across Central America, and so the US and Britain agreed to share the rights to such a canal.
So here's the last tweet for today from Hussein As-Saleh. He says, Mr. Mommsen, I'm a big fan of yours, and my question is that what is the connection between Woodrow Wilson and the world with a hashtag Wawan Potees?
Well, thank you, Hussein Saleh, for the question, and here's the answer. Woodrow Wilson gave the Monroe Doctrine a moral tone. The US had a moral responsibility to deny recognition to any Latin American government it viewed as undemocratic or hostile to the US interests. Wilson adopted a plan of watchful acting, looking for an opportunity to act against Huerta. When Wilson refused to recognize a government that had come to power as a result of violence, Wilson withdrew the troops and formally recognized the Carranza government.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the sad part of this show. We're ending right now. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for our cameraman. And thank you, and have a nice weekend.